When your air conditioner quits all at once, blowing warm air, or just sitting there dead, the way it died already told you something. Things that wear out slowly, like a compressor, tend to die slowly. A unit that was fine at lunch and stone dead by dinner did not wear out. Something cut its power, or one cheap part gave up. And most of the time that is a fix under $50, not a new system. The fastest way to find the cheap thing that quit has nothing to do with memorizing 10 different parts. It comes down to one question: what in your system still has power? Go to your thermostat, set it to cool about 5 degrees below the room, and just watch. Three things are either happening or they are not. Does the indoor blower kick on and push air out of your vents? Does the outdoor condenser unit hum, and is its fan spinning? And is the air actually coming out cold? Whatever you see sorts this whole thing in about 30 seconds because the failed part is hiding wherever the power stopped. One fact makes the rest of this make sense. Your indoor furnace or air handler runs on a 120 volt circuit, and your outdoor unit runs on a separate 240 volt circuit. They sit on different breakers. So one of them can be stone dead while the other runs like nothing is wrong, and that is not a glitch, that is just how the wiring works. Let me start with the worst looking case where nothing runs at all. No air inside, no hum outside, maybe a thermostat screen gone dark. This looks like the whole system died, but it is almost always the cheapest kind of problem, something on the power or control side. Start at your breaker panel. The air conditioner breaker is usually a wide double breaker, and a tripped one does not snap fully off. It sits in the middle. Push it all the way off, then back on. But here is the part people get wrong. If it trips again, the second you reset it, stop, and do not keep flipping it. A breaker that keeps tripping is doing its job and guarding you from a real fault, so that one is a call to a pro. If the breaker is fine, walk outside to the metal disconnect box next to the condenser. Sometimes that pull-out block is just loose, or somebody bumped it, or on some installs it got mounted upside down so the faceplate reads off when it is actually on. There can be fuses inside it too, and a nearby lightning strike loves to blow those. See, back inside, there is usually a switch that looks just like a light switch near the furnace, and it gets flipped off by accident, or bumped while somebody stacks boxes nearby. A lot of furnaces also have a little safety switch on the access panel, so if that door is not fully closed or its screw worked loose, the whole system stays dead. People have brought a completely dead air conditioner back to life by tightening one panel screw. Then there is the thermostat, and this one surprises people the most. Weak batteries can leave the screen blank, or worse, still lit, but too weak to actually close the contacts inside and call for cooling. And here is what catches even electricians. A lot of the time there is no low battery warning at all. It simply stops calling for cool. So put fresh batteries in before you assume anything bigger is wrong. Not every thermostat has them. Some are wired straight to the furnace, but if yours takes batteries, that is a $2 test worth doing first. The last one in this group lives inside the furnace on the control board. There is a small automotive-style fuse there, usually a 3 or 5 amp, sometimes a purple one, and it protects the low voltage side. When it blows, the whole system goes dead, usually because of a short somewhere, a thermostat wire pinched by a staple, cut by a weed trimmer, or chewed by a mouse. And a heads up if you own a Trane, because some of them hide an extra inline fuse feeding the thermostat, so the screen still lights up on its own battery and looks perfectly fine while that blown fuse quietly kills the cooling. Swapping the fuse without finding the short just blows the new one, so if it keeps going, there is a wire problem to chase. Quick note: if this is a window unit or a portable, those plug into a special cord with a reset button that pops out when it trips. Unplug it, wait 5 minutes, press reset, and plug it back in. If it will not reset at all, the outlet or the circuit is the suspect, or the plug took surge damage and needs a new cord. Now the case that confuses more people than any other. Your air is blowing fine inside, you can feel it at the vents, but the house keeps getting warmer and that outdoor unit is either dead silent or just humming and buzzing without ever starting. The blower running is normal, your problem is outside and it is electrical. The runaway favorite here is a failed run capacitor, and it is not close. One veteran technician pegs it at 8 out of every 10 of his summer service calls. That capacitor gives your compressor and fan the jolt they need to start, and when it weakens, the unit hums every couple minutes but never kicks on, or the fan just sits there. The tell is a bulged or domed top on it, like a swollen can leaking oily fluid. And here is the detail nobody connects. Capacitors are heat sensitive, so they give out on the hottest days. That is why so many people describe an air conditioner that works fine in the morning and dies every afternoon in the peak heat. The part itself runs about $10 to $45. A tech will usually charge somewhere around $175 to swap it, and people who do it themselves report saving $400 to $700 over a full service call. But do not touch that capacitor yet, because this is the step almost every video skips, and it is the one that can hurt you. A capacitor stores power like a battery, and it holds that charge even with everything shut off, enough to seriously injure you. You have to pull the disconnect and discharge it first by shorting the terminals with an insulated screwdriver before you go anywhere near the wires. If that sentence made you nervous, that is the right instinct, and it is a fine reason to let a pro take this one. Say it is 95 out, your blower is pushing air, but the house is climbing and the fan on the outdoor unit sits dead still. You nudge that fan blade with a stick and it slowly spins up and keeps turning. That is your capacitor almost every time. The other outdoor suspect is the contactor, a little relay that lets the big voltage through. It can get pitted, or an ant can wedge into the contacts so it cannot close. That part is under $20, and techs often replace it right alongside the capacitor. The third case is everything running. The inside fan, the outside unit, all of it, and the air still is not cold, or it cools for a while and then quits. Start with the simplest thing, a dirty air filter. When it clogs, it chokes the airflow over your indoor coil until that coil freezes into a solid block of ice and no air moves at all. If you hear people say their unit needs to rest before it works again, that is the myth I want to kill right here. An air conditioner does not need to rest. If it only runs after sitting a couple hours, it is thawing a frozen coil, and that is a warning, not a feature. Shut the cooling off, run just the fan for a couple hours to melt the ice completely, then swap in a clean one. If the filter is already fresh and it still will not get cold, you are probably low on refrigerant, and this part matters. Your air conditioner runs refrigerant in a sealed loop, and it never gets used up. So if the level is low, there is a leak somewhere. That is the only reason it is ever low. Most of those leaks sit in the indoor coil, which is a $700 to $800 part you replace, not patch. Refrigerant is pressurized, it can cause frostbite, and it is regulated. So this one is a licensed pro. And skip the stop leak cans, they cause more trouble than they fix. There is one more pattern where the unit runs for a bit, shuts itself off, and refuses to restart. A big cause of that is a condensate float switch. Your system has a little safety float in the drain pan that cuts all power the moment water backs up, so a clog cannot spill over and come through the ceiling below. The usual culprit is a slimy algae clog in the drain line, and it will not restart until you clear it and empty the pan. The fix is satisfying. You put a wet, dry vacuum on the drain line, suck the gunk out, and the unit fires right back up. Attic and closet units get this the most. So when is it actually the expensive part, the compressor? Here is the honest flip side. If you replace that cheap capacitor, the fan spins back up, but the air still never gets cold and the copper lines never chill down, that points straight past the cheap fix to the compressor. A dying compressor also makes a horrible clanging racket, or it hums, tries to start, trips its own overload, and retries. That is a real repair, roughly $1,800 to $3,200 on a modern system, which is a big slice of a whole new unit. Which is where you have a genuine decision, and I would not rush it. If your system is under about 8 years old, fixing it is usually the smart money. Past 12 years, a compressor failure usually means the rest of the unit is right behind it, so replacement starts to make sense. And there is a 2026 wrinkle worth knowing. The old R410A refrigerant got banned from new equipment production last year, and the price of it has jumped 30 to 50%, so a big refrigerant repair on an older unit tilts the math toward replacing it. If the first company leads with a quote for a whole new system, price it against another company before you agree, because those quotes swing by thousands on the same job. But that is the far end, and not where most of you are. Most of the time, this is a trip breaker, a dead battery, a clogged drain, or that heat-tired capacitor. And it is a Saturday morning, not a new air conditioner. Work it in order from what still has power down to what does not, and the symptom will hand you the part. If you want the exact capacitor, the low voltage fuse, or a drain cleaning tool that fits your model, I have those linked down below so you grab the right one the first time.